Schedule my
Time's up.
yeah. Hey everybody, Kamari Ellis here, Finance Rebel. Welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. Tonight I wanted to do something a little bit different. I'm seeing some changes in the mortgage landscape, and so I wanted to talk about it with our our resident mortgage agent, Mr. Robert Lewis. It is resident mortgage lender, right? I got it right.
That's my handle.
Man, I apologize. I gotta own my stuff, you know. But I've seen some articles with some banks talking about lending's changing. The lending requirements for mortgages are going up. And so I wanted to talk about that real quick with Robert, see if we can get a better understanding of what's going on. Is it a good time to buy? Is it a bad time to buy? Is it going to be impossible to buy right now because the banks are tightening up the money? I get it. They got all the stimulus, PPP, SBA stuff they're trying to get to. And I'm assuming they don't want to give it all out. And so they're trying to make it a little bit harder for folks to get mortgages so they can have more skin in the game and reduce their overall risk. But I'm going to turn it over to Robert right now. So he's the expert on all this. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Kamar. Thanks for having me again. Appreciate you, allowing me to get the ear of your audience. I'll just jump right into it if you don't mind, man.
Yes, sir.
So just a little context, and not to correct you, but what's going on, the reasoning for the tightening is really an unintended consequence as a result of the CARES Act, in that the forbearance piece of that bill has put servicers in a precarious situation.
So let me jump in, Robert. Explain the forbearance piece.
So the forbearance piece in the CARES Act simply says, if you have been affected negatively, loss of job, furlough, any kind of negative event that pertains to your income, and you have a mortgage, you simply have to get in contact with your servicer. Let me digress. A forbearance is just a pause in you making your mortgage payment. That was your question. So that's what a forbearance is. But the CARES Act and the reasoning for the tightening in some lenders' portfolios is because servicers are required to make payments for mortgage holders to keep the bondholders whole if the mortgagee cannot make the payment. So that's really what's going on. It's not all of the other helicopter money that's being dispersed, but because of that rule in the bill, which allows pretty much anybody just to call without any test and say, hey, I've been affected and I don't have to pay that mortgage payment. That is the unintended consequences and what's really causing some, if not all, lenders to tighten up on their guidelines.
What do you think is going to happen to the market as a result of this? I mean, I saw, what was it, JP Morgan Chase, 700 credit score and 20% down. So if you buy a $100,000 house, if they even exist anymore, that's 20 grand.
Right.
$200,000 house, that's 40 grand down.
Right.
That's a far cry from I seen 3% down.
And that's why you have us on, right? That's why you have your network of folks, because that's JP Morgan Chase. Here's the deal. After 2008, third-party originators, folks like myself, we accounted for about 25% of the market, meaning non-bank lenders that originate mortgage loans. Last year,
time for me, 85%.
Actually, we were only about 55% as of last year.
Okay.
Yeah, which is still a lot, right? So, JP Morgan Chase and all of the what I will call primary banks, primary dealers, that the reason they allowed for the third party originators like myself to be out in the marketplace. Number one, it's expensive to have an employee, right? Number two, the customer service at the bank, if we're honest, any one of them is really not the best. And number three, a lot of the talent really is on the outside of the banking system to originate those loans. So Said all that to say Chase is not the only player in town. Now, I just want to put it out here. There's still loans. I locked 3 today for folks that put down a minimum of 3% on a conventional loan, a FHA, not an FHA, but a Fannie Mae loan. That's Fannie Mae is going to end up buying that loan and securitizing it. So there are resources, there are lenders out here that are still lending at higher loan to values, higher LTVs. Second part to your question is, I really don't think it's going to affect the housing market. Back to 2008, the last recession was caused by the housing market. And remember the excuse that they gave, loose underwriting guidelines. And if you just had a pulse, you could get a home, right?
Well, that wasn't an excuse. That was real.
Well,
no doc loans was real.
there were a lot of folks doing live loans and stuff like that. But said all that to say, the average credit score, if you look at any of the documentation or any of the statistics over the last 10 years, or really the last 2 years, the average credit score is almost 700. And underwriting guidelines have been very good. You know, we're verifying income, assets, things of that nature. So while the tightening up, again, I alluded to it in the beginning, servicers got caught with their pants down. And hey, all these people, what was it? There was what were the jobless claims today? 5.5 million?
5.5 million. So we're up to 22 million unemployed people right now across the nation. So
that's a lot of payments that one will possibly have to make on behalf of the mortgager. So again, Chase is the only one, not the only one, but there's a lot of other lenders. Let me digress a little bit. My company that I partner with now, we service some of the loans that we originate because we sell directly to Fannie and Freddie. We have access to that window, right? Gotcha. Then I also am able to broker loans. I have other investors that I can broker loans to. And so there's still folks out here that have an appetite for FHA loans down to 580. Here's the deal. You're going to pay for it. and if you ask me, I mean, you should always pay for it. I mean, you're a riskier profile. And so points, 1 point is a percentage of a loan amount. And so that's what I've seen. Guidelines from the agencies, FHA, VA, USDA, and conventional, they haven't changed the guidelines, but lenders like myself have overlays that they place on top based on their risk tolerance and probably their servicing.
When you say an overlay, you're talking about a markup, right? So if y'all get the loan at 3%, y'all put 2% on it, and that's how y'all make your money.
Well, no, not a markup. I would say an overlay in that, like Chase is saying, hey, now you have to put 20% down.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about them increasing their overall mortgage criteria.
Exactly. So okay. The base guidelines haven't changed, but Chase has come on top of those guidelines and say, hey, if you're going to come play with us, you got to put 20% down. You got to have a minimum of 700 credit score. And if you think about it, you know, not saying that those folks would walk away from loans, because you got to watch it. And I think in that article that you read, if you go down to the bottom, they're still saying, hey, we're still meeting our CRA, our Community Reinvestment Act, folks, because that sounds like discrimination all day, right?
Well, no, I don't think it's discrimination. I mean, I didn't want to go that angle, but discrimination was when you found folks with terrible credit scores, still gave them loans at this super duper high interest rate. That, to me, that's predatory. So I don't know if necessarily tightening the standards is predatory just because a quote unquote demographic is known to have poor or worse credit scores, because it's not based on, ethnicity, race, religion, sexuality, gender, any of those factors. So I wasn't looking at it like that.
Well, and I'm not.
Yeah, obviously, I think about the Black community first. I'm Black.
Right.
We're all Black.
Right.
But, I wasn't even going down that lane.
Well, there's some lawyers or somebody somewhere that are, right? So they're still saying, hey, we have those loans available. So you got to kind of hear what they're not saying. And bottom line, I think it's a good thing. And like you said, back to yourself, you're the finance rebel. You're one of your mandates, I know, is to educate, to increase the financial literacy. And here's the deal.
Financial IQ.
Financial IQ. Thank you. And I am the resident mortgage lender.
Resident mortgage lender.
Right.
All right.
But we're both tired. But the financial IQ, right? And here's the deal. Like I always say when you ask me, it's always a great time to buy if you can afford it.
So when we look at the CARES Act, there's a 60-day moratorium on federally backed mortgages. And I believe you can extend for another 60 days. So that's a grand total of 120 days or 6 months. We got 22 million people laid off right now. We don't know when they're going to get called back to work, if they'll get called back to work. We just know it's 22 million. Rates of infection still have not fallen in regards to COVID-19. So we're seeing people have rent strikes, right? That's happening in more than places like Philadelphia. We haven't gone there in Philadelphia, but I've seen some across the nation. So what's going to happen when these people stop paying their rent to their landlord, and their landlord in turn either uses up all their emergency funds, right, or their cash reserves? What happens then? I mean, are we potentially looking down the barrel of another real estate crisis?
And the answer to that question potentially could be yes, right? Because at the end of the day, your debt is someone else's income in this economy, right? So to answer that question, here's the deal, Kamari. I'm not here. I go again, Kamari. So here's the deal. I check the news. I don't watch it, okay? Because if you watch it, you won't be out here being productive. So what's going on when I check the news today? That's why I think they're rolling out some plans to try to put people back to work, because at the end of the day, everybody can't sit at home and chill, man. Or it's gonna be worse than a housing market issue out here. It's gonna be tight in these streets, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight in these streets, absolutely. But I think the other thing that we got to really think about is what happens if we open up the economy, because that's what you're talking about by sending people back to work, and we get rapid spreads, or we get reinfection rates going back up. That's going to be worse than having people going crazy and bonkers out in the streets.
Well, that's why we're in uncharted waters, because I'd be lying if I told you I had the answer. What I will say is this. To the housing market, a majority of the folks that I'm seeing that have been affected negatively are in the entertainment, food industry, food sectors, things of that nature. So, this is what is it? The roosters coming home to roost.
Coming home to roost.
Chickens coming home to roost, because you've been kicking this can down the road. And, now when you don't let anybody go through a bankruptcy, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right?
But they made it harder.
It makes it harder. Right. So,
you brought up something, right? You brought up bankruptcy. Can you touch on that just to kind of update everybody?
As it pertains to
mortgage? Yes. Well, no, you brought up bankruptcy. You said they're not letting people do bankruptcy. So if there was a change in the law that prohibited that, or it made it harder for people to go through bankruptcy.
Oh, without a doubt. And that change has been in play for a while. And so again, and I'll touch on it briefly, but there have been changes so that you cannot just relieve yourself of this debt. So, I mean, it's incumbent upon us, you, myself, to consider the cost before we get into these debts and things of that nature, because you cannot willy-nilly yourself out of it. My father used to tell me all the time, because the majority of the people that watch this look like us. He said, son, when they let us do it, all the juice is gone. You know what I'm saying? So, Donald Trump did the bankruptcy thing 500,000 times. You can't do it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I find it very interesting, but you're saying it's still a good time to buy. People ask me that, and I said I will wait, because I do believe that I think that the Fed will backstop mortgages, and they already are to a certain degree.
Yeah,
they're already buying MBSs or mortgage-backed securities. They're providing liquidity to the market already. However, we still haven't seen a massive stoppage in overall mortgage payments and rent payments. So, I'm just wondering, is now the time, or do we wait another 6 to 18 months? And I know, we don't read the tea leaves.
Right.
We got a crystal ball.
Right.
But, we do have to put a little educated guess.
So let me answer the question. I mean, let's look at supply and demand. Okay. And so if the supply goes down, what happens to cost? You see what I'm saying?
It depends.
Say again.
So if supply goes down and demand, I'm an economics nerd. So
Right.
supply goes down and demand stays the same, price goes up. But if supply goes down and demand goes down, price may stay the same or go down. It really depends.
And thank you for the clarification and the education. But here's the deal: when we look at the formation of households and new families and things of that nature, population is increasing. So there's already a shortage of housing. There's been one for the last 10 years, right? And to boot, all of the stimulus money, the government just didn't start buying MBSs. We've been buying them since 2008, right? So all of these things,
we stopped for a minute, and then we brought it back.
And we caught up with a vengeance, right?
We did. And the break wasn't that long.
The break wasn't that long. So I know for 10 years strong, because I watch these things, we've been buying it. So to your point, the housing market it's been bailed out, and it's being bailed out to the tune of billions of dollars a day. And so it's messing up the treasury market. They're buying up, they're trying to balance this thing out. And bottom line, and to your point, that's why I believe the housing market will be fine. And let's be honest, all sectors have not been affected. The folks that are going to hurt are the ones at the bottom. Low credit scores. Those that haven't made the shift to get into this new economy. Okay, you're gonna feel it. And so I'm praying, man, because I feel it's gonna be hard for some people. I'm just gonna be honest with you. But if you're in the right sector of the economy, and you're doing well, it's a great time to buy now. And if you're an investor, let's use that word, because that's been maligned over the last 10 years. An investor is somebody that has some funds, right? That you could deploy and not have to get paid back overnight. Okay.
Right.
But because of those things that you alluded to earlier, if demand stay the same, prices could be staying stagnant or go down, right? A deflation, that's the time to buy, right? Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. Right. So, I mean, the last time I checked, the way I look at housing, Kamar, it's shelter. Okay. You don't have to have an extravagant home for your primary residence. But here's the deal: for all of you folks that, for my equities people, my stock folks that don't like real estate, don't. I
don't have a problem with real estate.
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm not jabbing you. I'm talking about some of your folks, right? So if you're not gonna buy where you live, own where they rent. It's a tool. You got to get into the system some kind of way.
All right, I ain't mad at that.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. I am wondering now, though, because my brain's always moving with COVID, with it impacting highly densely populated areas. Will that negatively impact urban areas?
Yes.
Suburbs and rural areas start to pop a little bit more for a little while, right? Because people have short-term memories. People got short-term memories. So we'll get over this, and maybe a year or two, people will be afraid, and then they'll go back to business as usual.
Right.
Maybe we might wear masks more often now.
No, and so valid point. And if you think about it, just what we're doing now, you and I are trailblazers when it comes to the technology, right? How long have you been live streaming, man? This is not new to you.
No, it's not new to me. I've been doing it for a while. But
since
the days of Blab.
The days of Blab, but everybody else is getting turned on, right? Yeah. So you can live in the suburbs, and now that employer at the end of the day, man, that's a company's highest cost is an employee, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
now, if I can keep you at home and you could work from home and be productive, you know, I think if we kind of embrace this thing and look at it, like you said, from a different perspective, a different paradigm, I could see the suburbs looking more attractive to people. Aside from when they start developing a family. So yeah, some of these urban areas, New York City, I mean, there's 26,000 people per square mile. I mean, you on top of one another.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's say hello to some of the folks that's been rocking with us for a minute. Go CP&G. Good day, everyone. Good day to you too. How are you tonight?
Good day.
Michael Dennis. Good evening, sir. Good evening to you as well. Thank you for joining us. Jane Jordan. What up? How you been? Oh, my pleasure. I mean, this is why I'm here. Robin Atwell. Hey, fam. Hey, fam. Robin, I see that looks like 20 Interstate 20 sign. Where you at? Where you from?
Then they got a Florida Lee in the sign too. That don't look like Louisiana. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's the. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the same time, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
How are you, brother Kamari? Thank you for stock info yesterday. I've been researching like crazy. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. What have you been researching? I know you was talking about India last night. What else were you talking about? I know India. You asked about something else too. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head.
South Korea. Wow.
All right, how are you? South Korea. Wow. Wait, those must be some of your folks. Shamika, you been rocking with me for a while?
Nah, that's your people.
Jeez. How is South Korea? I heard South Korea is actually pretty nice. How was the outbreak over there? I heard it was kind of crazy.
Interesting to know. Yeah.
So anything else you got your eye on, Robert?
No, well, I mean, me personally, let me ask you a question. What do you feel about, tangible gold and silver?
So I always have to ask for who, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who we talking about? Your average everyday person?
Yeah, average everyday Joe. That's what I am. So yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of gold and silver for your average everyday person. I know people love it. I know there's a lot of gold bugs out there. Gold has been kicking butt. Matter of fact, let me see what gold closed at today. But a lot of people that love gold and silver right now feel gold is extremely undervalued. Mm-hmm. And so I paid attention to the gold price pattern over, let's say, the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. And what happens to gold usually is that gold will run up like it did in 08. And then again, I think in 11, it went up to, I want to say, close to $5,000. And then it dropped. And then it stays in this kind of low base. And it doesn't pay any dividends. It doesn't do anything. If you like gold, if you really love gold that much, buy gold miners. Because the pricing of gold miners, your Barrick, I'm trying to think of some other gold producers. I want to say Newmont, but I'm not sure if Newmont is all gold. But they follow the price of gold plus. As a matter of fact, I think I pulled that up on the screen one time, one Wednesday when I do the Wealthy Wednesdays. By the way, everybody, Wealthy Wednesdays every Wednesday. I do Q&A from starting at 8 p.m. Last night we rocked for almost 3 hours. Last week we almost rocked for about 3 hours. Y'all kicking my butt. By the way, yesterday was April 15th. So technically, usually it's the end of tax season. Right. But no, he was rocking out. But gold, I don't have a problem with gold. I think you can have a small percentage of your portfolio on gold. Let's say you got 100,000 or 200,000 or $1 million. That maybe 5% gold. It's nothing wrong with it. But I would rather invest it into the companies that are publicly traded stock companies that mine gold and other metals, because I feel I get more bang for my buck. 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10.
Thanks, because I'm sure a lot of
Are you looking at gold?
You know, you said when we get on here, we really weren't going to talk about ourselves, man. So
I talk about myself all the time.
yeah. So yeah, I might like stuff like that, man. But 5%, huh? 5 to 10%.
So tell me this. Tell me this. Are you looking to buy gold in like the bullion or the coins, or well, like the bullion, or are you looking to buy like the coins?
If I were to do it, I wouldn't deal with the numismatic value with the coins.
Okay, right, exactly,
Straight bullion. Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
Because I mean, there is a market there, right? Because you have these rare gold coins, and you have like the Morgan dollars, but I think the Morgan dollars are silver. But they have their own value. It's a separate market. It's tied to the price of the metal, the gold, or the silver. But then there's a whole collector's premium that's on top of that as well. And so I know a lot of times when people clear out of states, they might find old like Morgan dollars from a certain era, and they're worth a whole lot of money. Me personally, just for practical everyday use, I think everybody should start in the stock market. You can
Yeah.
buy real estate, you can buy gold, but I say start in the stock market because through the stock market you can then figure out everything else. That's just my opinion.
Another thing that's interesting to me, man, and this ties into why you asked me to come on, but I noticed Cash App now has a routing and account number, right?
Yes, I was going to do a separate video about that. Yeah,
So
yeah.
some of these fintech banks, man, what's the play on that, man? How are they able? I mean, are they taking deposits or?
Yeah, they'll take the deposit.
Mhm.
Listen, I do business through Cash App. People send me money through Cash App. It's not just for coordinating dinners and birthday gifts for grandma and mom. You can do business with Cash App. You could have an actual business set up through Cash App. I mean, I'll be honest, there's a whole lot of, I don't want to call them schemes, right? But there's a whole lot of like these money circles where people use Cash App. I haven't, hold on one second. Alexandria, when you said what's the difference between them, what exactly are we talking about? You're talking about gold and silver? Or are we talking about mortgages? Because we were talking about a lot tonight. We initially came on to talk about why our mortgage standards are changing.
Right.
And then, as always, when me and Rob get on, we talk about money through and through. So let me know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, Cash App is actually owned by Square. Matter of fact, Robin, did we talk about Square last night on Cash App? But yes, now you can use the Cash App routing number. Bank, you can get a bank account to them. I actually tested it out this morning. I was going to do a video on it today. I had time. I'm tired, folks. Like I thought yesterday was going to be the end of tax season. I still got clients hitting me up today, or new clients rather coming through the door.
But, so with the convenience and ease of that, man, how many people do you think there's really are they serving in the underserved or the non-banked community?
The unbanked market. Yeah. I think they're serving the unbanked, non-banked market pretty well for the most part. I mean, because you can get a Cash App and you can transfer it to your bank if you have a bank. And you do the option to wait a couple of days. There's no fee. Now, if you want to take it right away, they charge you something, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as PayPal. The other thing is you can get a card with Cash App. Now, I only use Cash App and PayPal and Venmo for the most part. I only use them like credit card accounts. I don't use them as bank accounts. I have some clients who I got to scream at, cuss them out, and say don't use them as bank accounts because people will leave their money and hold them. I don't believe in that because you don't have any FDIC protection. That's what now, as I think about it and I talk it out, now that Cash App can take money in through routing and account numbers, and there was a bank that was associated with it, they might have some FDIC protection as well. So, or maybe they did some kind of pass through.
Well, and I was going to ask, and it might be a boon doggle for the underserved or non-served as it pertains to credit. I don't know if they're going to report to the bureaus if you're going to, allow for credit
Yeah.
cards and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's kind of full circle what we're talking about with
Well, they're debit cards.
debit cards. Okay.
Yeah, the debit, they're not credit cards, they're debit cards. But even sometimes if you mess up your debit card with the bank, it can get reported to the lending agencies.
Yeah. Like with
Yeah.
funds. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll tell you this too, Kamari, a couple of things. She said gold. Let's answer her question.
Yeah. So, all right. So you have gold bullion, like the gold bars, like that's at Fort Knox and the Bank of New York. Well, not the Bank of New York, but the Federal Reserve of New York. A lot of countries like to have gold. Gold used to be, when you hear the gold standard, right? Everybody's dollar was backed by gold. Well, the US dollar was backed by gold. So everything they put out was backed by gold. The reason why the United States got off the gold standard was because there were so many other economies drafting off of the United States dollar. And so they kind of put a strain on gold production because it's hard to mine gold. And so in order to get new gold, you got to mine more of it, or you got to try to buy it up from somewhere else. So it can get very complex. And that's a major reason why they got off the gold standard. They didn't get off the gold standard because there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that say the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers own it all up. They got off because it wasn't practical and the way that the formula worked. And so Bretton Woods happened and they got off that standard because gold has, so people always say gold is like everything and the US dollar means nothing. But they're both a promise, right? People believe in both of them. And anytime you break that promise or can't keep that promise, then the value diminishes. It's just like if some dude say, hey, I'm coming to pick you up at 8 o'clock and never shows up, the stock goes down, right? The promise was broken. So people still believe that there's this promise with gold. There's this promise with the US dollar because the US government has never defaulted on a debt. And I get in arguments sometimes with some of the gold bugs and people that love it. And they say gold, well, the dollar will never be as good as gold. And I say, here's the deal, because people like gold because it's like the doomsday protection, right? And they want to be carrying around these gold bars and all of that. But here's the thing, if it really goes down, if we really got the zombie apocalypse, nobody's going to want gold. They're going to want food, clothing, shelter, water, transportation, ammunition, firearms. Nobody's really going to want gold per se.
You forgot one. Toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper. You can use a leaf or a dish rag or a towel. I know some people might not like that, but listen,
right.
When you are in a jam, you are in a jam. But again, gold still has value. Gold is used in certain things, certain productive things is used in cars and certain things like that, and certain other electrical uses. But I don't really see the value. But I don't think I actually answered your question because you asked what's the difference between gold and the coin. And so there's also these like gold coins. You can also buy gold bars too. You can't buy a whole lot of them, but you can buy gold bars. You can buy gold coins. And so they have two elements, right, that impacts their price. So it's the price of gold, which rises right now. It's up. I never finished looking up the price for the day.
1770 where it's closed today.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
And there's also a collector's value because a lot of people like to collect these because they're worth money and they keep value relatively in a good manner and a relatively safe manner. I just don't believe that all your money should be in gold. I'm not as attracted to it by many others. It's okay. I think I might buy some gold bars maybe once in a while, right? Then I got to tell my insurance company to put them on as a rider because people don't realize you got to put a rider on because they're not covered under regular homeowners insurance or renters insurance, whatever you may have.
Need an
So
umbrella. Yeah.
you got to think about what's that?
Said you need an umbrella policy to your
Yeah, but you got to add a rider to your homeowners as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So also too, Hitman, she may be asking between the miners and the physical stuff. I don't know if she's talking about that.
Okay. So the miners, a lot of times they dig for gold to put in production products, like a catalytic converter. They do the bars sometimes as well. You see a lot when the Chinese celebrate New Year, they'll buy gold jewelry in abundance because there's so many of them. Now, Alexandra also said the word I used. So the word, I think she's talking about numismatist.
Numismatic.
Yeah, I always say it crazy.
Yeah. She said
they're basically the people who specialize in gold and silver coins, and they'll appraise them, they track the value of them, they do all that. So they're like the specialists on that side.
It's like a collector's component.
Yes.
Yeah. So also too, man, before you go, let me kind of give some context when we talk about mortgage standards tightening up and credit scores, right?
Okay.
You all, if you don't know, and if you do, bear with me for those that don't, but technically any credit score that you have up to a 680, we just gonna call that bad credit or challenge credit. And so 680. A lot of people don't realize that. So there's a big break between, or 679. So 680 to 720, we're gonna call that B, and then 721 and up, we'll call that A. So a lot of folks were in that, 580 to 640 range, and with the tightening of the guidelines, which will require more reserves, meaning money that you have in your possession after you close, as well as down payment, right? So there's more money that you have to have. And then you know this better than I do, Kamar, not from the statistics, but from people that you help. I mean, what would you say the average American family has in a checking or savings account, from month to month? You see?
They say they have no more than $400.
$400. So these are real facts. The kids have been at home eating more groceries, whatever. Child abuse and spousal abuse have gone up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what, you in the refrigerator again? You know what I'm saying? So I say that jokingly to say not just purchase, but for those folks out here that may have a home that are sitting on a ton of equity, I like your perspective on tapping into that equity with lower rates, because it's a little different if you have lower scores and you already have the property, right? Is it a good idea to strip some of that equity out so you don't have to, put your hands on nobody? What you think?
Right. No, that makes sense.
Makes sense?
Now, this was one thing I did want to ask. Is Chase like a trendsetter in the mortgage market? Will other banks kind of follow in their footsteps and begin to do that? Begin to tighten it. Now, hold on. I'm trying to figure out how to say this word.
Okay.
Numismatic.
You was right. Numismatic.
Y'all
got that?
Numismatic.
I do my homework before I come on here, man. You're not gonna have me looking bad in front of your people, man.
Well, listen, man. You pulled that out of nowhere, because we wasn't even supposed to talk about gold coins.
Well, it's the money show. When I talk to you, I'll try to get hey guys, I'm trying to tap into his knowledge when I'm not, without having to pay him.
Here we go.
Yeah. So, and you get the benefit. Numismatic. Yeah. Numismatic.
All right. I finally learned how to say it.
Mm-hmm.
The power of Google. So I was asking, is Chase like a trendsetter in the mortgage market? Do if they start tightening, will other banks start to tighten as well?
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier. The tightening started 3 weeks ago. You're just not hearing about it with Chase. So everybody's been tightening. And the reason you're hearing Chase now is because they're one of the biggest, the largest, right? And again, the reason they're tightening is because they service a lot of loans. And if 5 million people can't pay their mortgage payment, they're trying to minimize the exposure to that going forward, because the bondholder must get their payment at the end of the day.
Right. You gotta get their interest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So all right, so let me ask you this, right? What's the average holding rate of a mortgage? Like how often do people move? I know years ago it was like they moved like every 2.3 years, or it was 3.2 years. I forget exactly what it was. And so they were selling the home, getting a new mortgage. Is that still the same now?
It has been, and that's with good times. But right after the recession, that bumped up to about 7 years. So going forward, when people get a little nervous, shook, like you said, how long is it going to take for folks to really go out and be the way they were after this, right? I think we're going to start seeing, 7 to 10 years maybe before you trade up or move around, unless you have to.
No, but I was thinking about the tranches that Chase meant in tranches. It's a basket of mortgages, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about the tranches they might be servicing on the servicing side, right? The mortgage servicing side, not on the bond payment side.
Well, and that's an insider thing that you picked up on, because if you notice, they said it wouldn't affect their current portfolio, right? And so here's some more fun facts. Last year, the entire industry, we funded $2 trillion in mortgage transactions. And that was a record. Okay. From February the 15th to the end of March, there's $1 trillion in the pipeline.
Wow.
So that's another reason, because this, Kamar, but basically, whenever someone locks a loan, that's a promise.
That's
right?
what locks a loan means.
Okay, so say you call me and we're doing a mortgage application and you're buying a home, and I say, okay, Kamar, today you can lock in a rate of 3% for 30 years. So me as a lender, when I lock that rate in, that's a promise. I haven't received any monies yet, and it might be 30 days before that loan closes, right? So in that time, what I do is I go to the market and I get a hedge to say, hey, if the rates go up, hopefully it protects me, because really I'm losing money. I'm paying employees. I'm doing a lot of stuff for 30 days.
Right.
And so before I get paid. So that's another reason Chase is doing this that people aren't talking about. You might hear the buzzword capacity. We don't have the capacity. We did a record last year with 2 million, and we had trillion. Pardon me. We had $1 trillion that's still going through the system now to free up those monies.
Well, I guess they don't want 7 years on average of new money coming on the books that could potentially default very quickly, I'm assuming.
Exactly, because of the CARES Act.
So we got a question. But you know what? Hold on, Dennis. I didn't realize how long we've been on. So listen, everybody, if you're just now joining, I'm Kamari Ellis. This is the Finance Rebel Show. Today, we are talking about mortgages and some of the tightening that is taking place in the market. So I had my buddy Robert Lewis come on, who is the resident mortgage expert. I think I got it right that time. And he always comes on and educates us about the mortgage markets, and obviously mortgage markets relates to home buying. And so I saw actually somebody sent me an article that said Chase, JP Morgan Chase, biggest bank in America, is starting to increase the rates of mortgages and the standards. So you need a 700 credit score and at least 20% down from Chase. So Robert came on and said, that's only from Chase. We have other options. So listen, if you're just now watching, share this with somebody who might be thinking about buying a home or getting a mortgage sometime soon. Sharing is caring, folks, right? Each one teach one. So back to Dennis. Dennis' question was, so 680 is the lowest FICO score now?
No, sir. That's not correct, Dennis. FHA loans, we still have investors that are doing loans at a 580 minimum credit score. Whenever you're doing an application for a mortgage loan, we pull all three bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. We throw out the high score, we throw out the low, and we use the middle score of the lowest middle score of whoever's on the application. So just to clarify, you can still get a loan with Certain lenders, you just have to check whoever you're dealing with to see if they have that ability, because a lot of lenders have increased the minimum credit score to play because of all the things I spoke to earlier. But I'll just speak for myself, we can still do 580. The difference is this: you're going to pay significantly in what's called discount points. That's monies that you pay up front to get said rate. And you have to have a certain amount of reserves left over after the close. So there's more overlays to make it more difficult, because they don't want to have folks buy that potentially will have a 3 to 6 month vacation and not paying. Because if that happens, and I want everybody to know this, trust me, I'm about my people. But let's play chess and not checkers. If everybody stops paying, remember, your debt is someone else's income. So eventually, that's going to affect everybody. So anybody listening, if you can pay your mortgage, pay it. Now, that said, if you can't, forbearance, that's something that happens in a 3-month interval. And the way I read the law, Kamari, the additional 3 months are at the discretion of whoever the lender is. It's not automatic. So
yeah, and I'm hearing they're not giving it up. You have to ask for it.
Exactly. You got to ask for it. And if you need it, ask for it, right? Call me, I'll help you. But on a forbearance, after that 3 months, month 4, you have to make all 4 payments. Now, FHA just came out, and the other Fannie and Freddie came out and said, look, the government is going to say, hey, you have the option to either do a modification, which all that money that you didn't pay gets put on the back of the loan or modified. But once again, that's at the lender's discretion. So we always just hear one thing. I want you to hear the whole matter. So the best thing to do is pay if you can pay.
All right. So Alexandra said, damn, glad I came on today, Kamari, because I am house shopping. So what you house shopping for? Because I believe you're in Philly, right? Alexandria, somewhere in the outskirts. We getting a single family home. We getting a multi-family, residential, rental, investor. What you doing? All right. Robin Atwell says the market is going to drop again. Is that a better time to buy, or it makes no difference? I think it depends on what you're buying for, right? So if you're buying, like Robert said earlier, everybody needs shelter. So if you're buying to move your family or yourself into a better neighborhood, a better situation, I can't really answer that. You have to answer that. Just to be totally honest with you, not trying to be cute or anything. But I would get that. However, if you're waiting, if you're looking to buy, let's say, a rental property or become a real estate investor, I personally would probably wait a little bit. Robert shaking his head no.
Everything's still expensive yet. You're supposed to buy when it's cheap. I mean, housing is still expensive because, again, this slowdown that we're in has been caused by a health pandemic. The fundamentals for housing, they weren't bad because of the last housing debacle. Inventory's down. I would say this: if you're looking to buy, here's the Mendoza line for me. If it's $300,000 or less, affordable housing, I know how crazy that sounds, and you could get in where you fit in with these low rates, I lock it down. 30-year long-term fixed debt to buy houses. You can't do that nowhere else on the planet, just here in America. And so that's what I would do. If you're buying over $300,000, that's once again a personal decision. If that's how you want to take care of your family and you can afford it, yeah, but you might want to think about it because there might be some deflation as a result of everything that's going on. Eventually, it's going to have to come to bear. What do you think, Kamar?
I mean, I think you got to, again, it's a case-by-case situation. You said 300,000 or lower. Mm-hmm. Again, it depends on what you're buying for. Robin didn't tell us what she's thinking about buying for. So I don't know. Like for me, I think there's still certain areas that have certain situations that will be good to buy in. For example, there's still people getting foreclosed on. Well, they're not getting foreclosed on now because the courts are closed, but there's still some good REO properties out there. REO is a whole different animal, a whole different beast. So you kind of got to deal with that. But there's still opportunity out there. There's opportunity at many share sales. Again, it just really depends on what you're trying to do, what you're looking for, and honestly, what your wallet or pocketbook can support. So, that's how I look at it. All right, so Alexandra said, I need a whole credit student loan segment. All right, so listen, this is what I want to do, and I haven't done this yet. My homegirl, Sonia, Sonia, the student loan doctor, is my homegirl. So we've never done a show together. So I'll have to make sure I reach out to her and see if we can do something together.
And she's good.
Yeah. Me and her have a very interesting story. She's very good though. She's on the ball. She's on the money.
Very
So
good.
I'll reach out to her and ask her to come on. Now here's the deal, Alexandra. You're asking me to do this. That means you got to promise to be here.
No doubt.
The question is, will you be here? All right, so you're moving to the NA Northeast. Is this a residential? Because you said, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was residential or if it was an investment property. And I mean, here's the thing, right? As you pay attention to the market, and if you really get in tune with the market, you'll start to find deals. You'll start to identify situations, right? They might not all come as a result of COVID and the market crashing and all that, but people might have just been on hard times, or they may feel that the property is just too big for them. They want to retire to Florida or somewhere nice, right? There's all of these situations that can occur that could be a win-win type situation for you and the previous owner. So I would be on the lookout for those as well.
Sounds like she's looking at a duplex. Thanks, Mr. Dennis, for that comment.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't even read that. I just saw something else. Sounds like solid info. Thanks. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being there. Generally looking, but there's a possibility of buying the place I currently run. All right, that's dope. That's dope. Congratulations. Is there any investment advantage taking on a mortgage right now? You got to give us a little bit more. So when you say any investment advantage, right? So are we talking, are you a real estate renter? Are you renting property? Are you looking to flip? Is this residential? Like, talk to us. What are you trying to do? Robin Atwell said, I was just asking. I paid my mortgage off 2 years. Hey, how you doing, Robin? What's up with you? That's good stuff. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. She's talking about the class with the student loan. She said she'll be there.
I'll make sure you get it. Make sure you turn on the notifications here on the page.
Right. I think that's a duplex. That's a good move.
It's a twin.
A twin?
Well,
no,
a twin might not. So you're down in Texas. We're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So a twin up here is just kind of a side-by-side house.
Okay.
I know in the Midwest and sometimes in the South, y'all call those duplexes.
Yeah.
So it's funny, y'all. Like lingo changes throughout the country.
No doubt.
I only know that because I got a client in Kansas.
Yeah.
That's a developer that is built, and he has these like side-by-side homes that he's built. We would call those twins up here, but they're called duplexes. So it's interesting.
I like that strategy though. That twin strategy. You basically if you do it right, you can have the renter paying your mortgage. You feel me?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's a duplex or not.
Gotcha.
I don't know if there's two right. She said residential.
Okay, residential.
Right. So a twin up here is just, matter of fact, I live in a twin.
Okay.
Now, think about it. So there's this one big structure right in the middle separates both our homes.
Gotcha.
So we got a firewall in the middle that separates both our homes, but on the bookends is a separation between the next house. There's grass in between mine.
We call those townhomes here. So
right. So here
share a wall.
we call townhomes. Townhomes to us are like row homes.
Gotcha.
They're fancier row homes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now there are some twins or townhomes like you're talking about up here too, and we call those townhomes.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, they are
single family residence is just with an adjoining wall. I got you.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
ETFs.
Robin, you want a session on ETFs? Now, I got all kinds of ETF information on my YouTube channel, but I haven't done. Well, I think I just did one not so long ago. I gotta pull it up. Robin, I will. Matter of fact, this is what I'll do. Let me bear with me, y'all. Because listen, I gotta do this now, or I might forget. But I'm almost sure I just did an um, ETF video because I think ETFs are one of the best ways to get into the market to start out because it's fairly easy. You get to buy a multitude of different stocks or different commodities or different currencies. It all just all depends.
So what does ETF stand for, man?
ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. And so the example I like to use, if I don't have a bucket, right, I got a cup.
Mm-hmm.
And so inside this cup right now is water. Y'all can't see it. But I can always interchange the water for juice, liquor, coffee, whatever it may be. So the ETF is just like a container, right? And so inside that container, you could have bonds, you could have stocks, you could have domestic stocks, you could have international stocks, you could have stocks of only real estate companies, you could have stocks of only telecommunications companies, you could have stocks of only tech companies. And then there are stocks that follow like the Dow Jones or the S&P 500. But yeah, I can do another session, right? Because I like these sessions because people can interact and they can, and yes, we could have, well, I say international, but yes, you can be very specific. You could have countries and regions, you could have currencies, you could have bonds, you could have sectors and industries, you could have all different kinds of things. But I can do a session with that because I can answer questions on that. Maybe I'll do that as a webinar or something.
Good stuff.
I'll tell you what, if y'all want that, that's all right. Tell me if y'all want that, how serious y'all are about that. Because I am about to ramp up a lot more of my investment talk. But that's easy. That's not a problem. Not a problem. I would, but the guy's not selling.
Keep checking.
You're talking about your neighbor.
Yeah, keep checking with him.
Yeah, keep asking. Don't stop.
Cash flow's getting tight. Keep asking.
So what we need COVID ETFs? I would say no. Somebody might make some. I mean, there's plenty of investments out there that we can get involved with that will benefit from COVID and that are just overall good companies. For example, Walmart's still selling their goods and services. Costco's still selling their goods and services. Walmart's outlet, I guess we call it Sam's Club, they're still selling stuff.
Costco,
right? So they're still making money.
Trader Joe's. To me, it's the small businesses that are going to be obsolete or disappearing at a rapid rate. Yeah.
Right.
10 doors.
I know you asked that question. All right. So
he said, was it a good time to invest? Or what are the advantages? Right. Yeah.
Right. It said, is there any investment advantage taking on mortgage right now?
Cheap money.
Yes. Oh, go ahead. This is you.
I was saying cheap money. I mean, the money's cheap. The thing is, don't over leverage yourself. And as long as you do it right, the money is inexpensive. And depending on your position, at some point in time, you can start cashing out and trading 2s and 3s and paying some off and holding that equity there and just having the cash flow go by. But yeah, that's my take. Cheap money. That's a good time to buy.
It can be, but there's more to buying than just buying, right? If you're talking about buying 10 to 20 doors, understand what it takes to maintain the maintenance on those properties. I hate slumlords. I'm not saying that you'll be a slumlord, but I see people do it all the time. They buy more property that they can handle. They don't have the infrastructure, right, or the people to help them, and their property gets run down. And that's a lose-lose for everybody. It's a lose for your tenants, right, because then you're like a slumlord. It's weighs heavy on your equity in your home, It's just not a good thing. But I'm gonna assume that
he's got to have a portfolio. Yeah. I said he has to have a track record because nobody's going to let him lend him money on 10 to 20 if he doesn't have something to show that he can handle it. So, but I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Well, Robin, I think you mentioned the African, you mentioned Indian ETFs. Well, no, you mentioned India stocks, and I said one of the best ways to find about India stocks is by looking at the India ETFs. So you can definitely use ETFs as a research tool as well. Like, let's say you wanted to buy the Vietnamese stock companies, right? And as I say this, there could be some potentially difficulty of buying some of these companies because they may be listed on, let's say, the Indian stock exchange, or I'm talking about Vietnam. They might be listed on the Vietnam stock exchange. However, there is a Vietnam ETF, there's a Thailand ETF, there is a Malaysia. What's next to Malaysia? I want to say there's a Malaysia ETF too. So if you wanted to look and see what stocks and those companies that you really liked or wanted to research, you can start with the ETFs. All right, I'm going to invest in Barrett Gold. I like Barrett Gold. It's much better than gold alone. Yes, I totally agree. And I know we talked about it yesterday, so this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I didn't recommend it.
I am not your advisor. Yeah.
Vanessa Braxton, what's up, homegirl? How are you? Shout out to Black Mama Tea and Cafe. That's what Vanessa has. Vanessa's doing a lot of dope stuff. Hey, Vanessa, by the way, Vanessa, you was talking kind of slick to me the other day. I got to go back to that post. I got busy.
Vanessa, tell him to bring that up in the private. Say he tried to put y'all.
Nah, it was a public conversation. We were just talking about. Listen, I would never do that. We were just talking about bailouts, Boeing, and the airliners.
Let me know. The
airlines got bailed out, right?
Yeah, they always get bailed out. Yeah,
they're an essential piece of the economy. Are there ETFs that are better if I am going to retire in a year, or they won't make money that soon? So there are bond ETFs.
Bonds and treasuries.
So Robin, I will tell you to look at some bond ETFs. I'm gonna tell you right now, look at preferred stock ETFs. I'm hesitating. I told y'all my trepidation about compliance and how I've been jaded and conditioned by them. But I want you to look up, again, it's just an idea, look up a preferred share ETF by the ticker symbol of PFF. Preferred shares, they're mostly from banks, but preferred shares don't trade like regular common stocks. If they trade, they barely trade at all. They don't get the same position. Let's say if a bank were to go to bankruptcy, your common stockholders are going to get paid first. Mm-hmm. Your preferred stockholders will get paid a little bit later. The reason being is because preferred stockholders get a higher dividend rate. It's very sexy for people that are going into retirement.
What's up?
And so there's a few other dividend stock ETFs, but look that one up again. It's not a recommendation. Education and entertainment purposes only.
Right.
Yes, DYOR. Do your own research. That's right.
And CYA.
Yes. And that's why I gotta keep putting out these disclaimers, because I'm CYA, because I just know somebody's going to take my good work and try to turn it against me at some point.
And sully it, yeah.
All right, so Shamika Ryan, mortgage rates are definitely low. I just closed with 2.75 on a 30.
So she must be military or something, because she's in Korea. You VA? And I'm curious, was it a purchase or a refinance? And what was your loan to value? Because when you put those numbers out there, that's kind of like what they do on CNBC. And what I say all that, not saying that you're not, I know you're telling the truth, but people got to compare apples to apples. So I'm sure your credit scores are lovely. Your loan to value wasn't 95 to 97%. You probably were 20% or less. So if I'm correct, you don't have to put all your business out there, but just kind of share that with us because I'll be curious to know.
Shamika, are you military? Is that why you're over there?
That makes sense if she is.
She might be a tech genius too. Well, she could be both. She could be a military and tech genius.
Or tech genius. Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah. Yes, sir. No problem, Michael. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
All right. This is another acronym. BMTC. What's that?
Working like crazy.
Vanessa Bracken says working like crazy. All right. But you always working like crazy. That's what you do. Michael says I was in a place run by a slumlord and that's not interested in being a slumlord. Amen, brother. Amen.
Good for you.
Just keep it. Listen, Vanessa, come on. I was having fun. You know, we just kind of I don't necessarily disagree with you, by the way. I'm just saying that it's going to happen. We're talking about bailouts because they are important to the industry, to the economy.
So he has a small portfolio.
All right, Michael, what's a small portfolio? Because you hit us with 10 to 20 doors.
Yeah, it's relative, right?
Yeah, you know, what's small, bro? What's small?
It's big to some, Mike.
What's small and what's the goal, right? So are you sitting on 10 to 20 doors now, trying to get another 10 to 20?
Yeah.
Is the goal to have 1,000 doors at the end?
Check your girl out at the bottom with the BMT.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Yes, PFF. Well, she needs Black Mama. You got Black Mama hand sanitizer? Is it Senate?
Yeah, you need to put that on.
You didn't tell me that. You know that.
Yeah.
Vanessa, you need to come on here anyway and tell your story. We need to come on here and chop it up. Vanessa is a hell of a trailblazer.
Okay.
She's definitely doing her thing. She's one of my favorite people here on the socials.
That's what's up.
Hold on. Miss something. You better listen and research. See, well, yeah, I got it. Robert Edward Matt Coinda. I'm not sure where Coinda came from, but shout out to Coinda. Coinda's dope.
Hello, Mr. Turk.
My man Turk. What's up, Turk? How you doing?
My bad.
Vashawn Turk.
Yeah. I was just looking at the name. I didn't see the pic.
Oh, here we go. I'm still trying to get some Samsung stock. So this is like an ongoing running joke me and Turk got for years now. We've been running this joke for a while now. He wants to buy Samsung stock over in South Korea. So I guess tonight's theme is South Korea. By the way, there is actually a South Korea ETF as well. Can't think of the ticker symbol, but there is one. Samsung stock. And I always, because I talk about Apple. I'm an Apple fan. I like how they get down. I like the creativity and the design elements they bring out of the in their products. They bring to their products. So yes, Black Mama Tea and Cafe and Black Mama Vodka. Yeah, are you shipping a PA? Vanessa, I need some vodka. I'm dry down here. Help a brother out. Oh, so you're active army. Okay.
Yeah.
It appraised below purchase price. Oh, she's slinging them numbers at us.
Bro, I told you.
Like recognize.
So when you're strong, you can get that 275. Good for you.
God bless you.
God bless you.
God bless you. Where'd you buy that, Shanika? Is it in the States? Rate was lower because it was VA. Right. There we go. Good stuff.
Vanessa gonna be on the big screen.
All right, Vanessa. So Vanessa just kind of, that's that slick talk. Because I invited her on and she's like, I'm gonna be on Karen Hunter. Listen, Karen Hunter is one of my favorite shows, by the way. Tell Karen I said, how you doing? But no, I'm a fan of Karen Hunter. Like that's just to be on point. I didn't see the news yesterday. No, I'll be on Karen Hunter's show. Just let me know when you're available. All right, we can do that. Congratulations, by the way. That's dope. That is dope.
South Kakalaki.
All right. So, Shamika, I hope I'm not asking too many questions. I'm newsy like that. So, are you planning on living there as a home when you come back stateside as a rental? Like, talk to us. What you doing? I love to see us win.
Yeah. And see, that's another good point, man. A lot of millennials and folks have that mindset that if I buy a house, I'm tied down. She's in Korea. You know?
Yeah, you just gotta have a process, right?
Yeah.
And
shipping everywhere. I just opened my facility back up. Oh, okay.
hey, drop your website.
Yeah.
I'll be on it tonight.
Yeah, and I share it with all my people as well, no doubt.
I need some Black Mama vodka. Where's the Black Mama vodka? I need some Black Mama vodka. Black owned vodka. Come on now.
That's
Come
big.
on now.
It's big. So she must be in the army.
Now.
Hoorah.
Let me know. Let me know if I'm asking too many questions. Yeah, but you don't look like you nowhere close to retirement. Are you originally from South Carolina? We need to just make you part of the show.
Yeah, chime in. So there's your answer. She quick with it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Good for her.
But now you know. So this is the problem being inquisitive, right? Because I got a follow-up question. That's part of the reason why I love interviews too, right? So she sold her investment property. All right, and listen, I love Karen. Like that's no cat. There's no joke. Tell her I said I love her show. So she said Shamika sold an investment property before she purchased this one. Now I want to know why you sold the investment property. You probably could have did both.
Because that retirement home probably fat, and she ran the market up and cashed out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Don Johnson, thanks for joining us, Don. 4 years and counting before I start getting to that good retirement check. All right.
Congratulations.
Now, I'm going to tell y'all something, folks. Y'all might find us weird. I don't ever plan to retire. I might slow down, but I think I'll always be working.
Yeah, me too. I like doing something. Yeah.
So, all right, listen, everybody go check out Black Mama Tees, right? Black Mama Tees. She is opening up locations across the nation. I know she has at least 2. I want to say one in Long Island right now. I'm not sure where the other ones are, but I've invested into, my family has invested into, I don't want to say me because it wasn't my funds directly, but I directed the purchase or the investment. So I'm an investor, or my family's an investor. So I believe in Vanessa. She's doing great things. She's got a great head on her shoulder. So everybody go check out blackmamatees.com.
Congrats. Thanks for your service. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So you're from SC. Okay. And you've been in the service for 23 years. Yes. Congratulations. And thank you for your service. Absolutely.
Yes. Isn't this technology awesome, man? I mean,
yeah, we're talking to people from Korea.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Now I know Shamika's name, but I don't know if we've ever interacted before.
Yeah, that's your community, man. I don't know Shamika. Yeah.
So Turk, you got a 23-year-old? Is that what I saw? I'm getting confused. I'm sorry. My son is also in Korea. Thank you for your service. Turk, is your son in the military?
Must be, yeah.
Congratulations. Vanessa, I don't believe you. I don't believe you'll ever retire, Vanessa. You got too much get up and go. You got too much gumption behind you. You might slow down. I don't think you'll ever retire, though. Let me know if I'm wrong the day you retire, though. Hit me up. Plan to use cash from household to buy more property. Oh, okay. So she got more cash in the stash.
Yeah.
She just secured the retirement piece. All right, I love it.
That's one of the best things about the military, the VA benefit if you qualify for it with that 100% financing. And with the Blue Water Act that just passed, there's no cap. If you've never used your certificate of eligibility and you can qualify nowadays, there's no limit on the amount of home that you can buy. You can buy $1 million.
All right, wait a minute, Robert. You're getting fancy on us. What did you just say? Blue Water Act? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Blue Water Act. It's
and what is the Blue Water Act?
You know, it has something to do with Vietnam, and I'll put it in the description before I leave. But bottom line, here's the deal: if you've never used your certificate of eligibility, all the VA or ex-military people will know are active duty. Your DD 214, and especially in our community, for some reason we don't use that VA benefit, but you have no cap on the maximum purchase price. Used to be the maximum purchase price was tied to the maximum conforming loan limit, which has now been pushed up to $510,400. And in anything over that, you would have to pay 10% of the difference, and that would be called a jumbo VA loan. Well, now I think if you're out in San Francisco or somewhere, you know, those little houses out there, $1 million, and you served in the military, you could go 100% financing. They actually will do loans down to 500 if you have medical collections and things of that nature. And if you have 10% or greater disability, you don't have to pay the funding fee. And then most of my veterans, because in Texas we love veterans, but most of you guys have the exemption, and a lot of these cats don't even have to pay the property taxes. Kamari.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So use your benefit if you have it.
It's funny. I know a lot of people don't use their benefits. A lot of people don't use their VA benefits, and I always find that so weird, right? Because you literally are putting your life on the line when you go to the service, because you are now in the service of the U.S. government, and they can send you anywhere they want or do anything they want with you almost. So I always find it like, you work for it, why not use all the benefits? So
there was a lot of unscrupulous practices, because a lot of people had a negative stigma when it came to the appraisals for VA loans. Don't let anybody tell you that. If you got that benefit, you use your benefit, or find an agent that will help you use it.
All right, so Don Johnson, military retirement, too young to start working. Okay.
I think he said he was in Korea or Japan. He's in Japan. Okay.
So Vanessa says we're on hold right now, and you missed the group pre-IPO. I think I got the group pre-IPO.
She must be talking to somebody else.
No, well, Vanessa's company was doing a pre-IPO.
Yeah.
Or IPO. I'm not sure what stage. She's done a couple of them.
I was thinking about that too when you were just talking. So I was like, I figured it's gone. Yeah.
What's that?
The IPO.
In Japan right now. Myself. Okay, you're in Japan. Okay.
The pre-IPO, I mean. Yeah.
Shamika says thank you to Vanessa. Michael says he has no intentions on retiring. Yeah, my man. That's why we buy.
Yeah, his son's in the army. That's what's up.
Oh, Mashai, son's in the army. Okay. All right. I didn't know that. Oh, okay. All right, Vanessa. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Stay
safe. Don, how about that? Yeah, stay safe over there. I know Japan just declared a state of emergency.
Mm-hmm. Commercial rates are a different beast, because it's based on property type and, you know, cap rates and things of that nature. So you're going to, you know, with the 1, 5, 7 or 10-year amortizations and things of that nature, is more so how strong the project is, if that makes sense. You know, for the commercial deals that I've been doing, and I focus more so on the multi-family, you know, 100 doors, 300 door type deals that I've done. But, you know, it really just depends on the type of deal and how strong it is, and the financials. And so, you know, if you got a strong deal, you can get some good money. But what I would say to that is you always want to try to get that SBA money because the longer terms, longer fixed terms and good rates there. And so you the right color and the right gender, Miss Braxton. Use it. Use it.
I'm sure she's on it already.
Yeah.
That's one smart cookie.
She just throwing them softballs up for us to kind of keep the conversation moving. I know she knows.
Let's see where we're at. Where are we? Trying to get to all these, and then I want to call it a night.
Yeah.
I got some work to do, and I'm gonna try to get a full 7 hours of sleep.
And try to you gotta keep that immune system up, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's funny, man. They talk about everything else on media, from the mask to the jobs, but nobody's really talking about ways to increase your immune system, eating better, exercising, drinking water.
Yeah. Yeah, it applies to veterans too, man. Yes, that's who it's for, man. Active duty and veterans, really veterans.
Right, but I thought VA stood for Veterans Administration, right?
Yeah, that's what VA stands for, but yeah. And it's the Blue Water Navy Vietnam Veterans Act of 2019. I'll drop the link in the private if you want to share it, man. It's good for them to read up on it. Because there's
Robert's on point. All right. So Robin, I don't know if Robin's still here. Robin, I just dropped that YouTube video talking about ETFs, and I have a couple more.
Oh, industrial parks, no mortgages. Okay, I just got my satisfaction. The mortgages. Yeah, congrats.
And of course, Robert knows his stuff. This ain't no bootleg janky show up here. I ain't all serious like Karen Hunter and Black Eagle. But I try to keep it real, keep it ethical, keep it integral. Yes, drinking tea. You know what's funny, Vanessa? I've been thinking about start drinking tea more. I drink coffee. I love tea, but I tend to drink coffee. I think I'm just addicted to drinking coffee, to be honest. But I need to switch over to tea. I mean, tea has more antioxidants. It's not as caustic to the body. Tea is definitely better than coffee for the most part.
Hey, before you go, man, Miss V, do you guys I like that Earl Grey. I don't see an Earl Grey blend on there. Is that something you could mix up or no? I don't see.
Yes, sir. Build your immunity.
Yeah. I'm trying to go cop some and check out, support the community. Earl Grey. I like that Earl Grey, man. Try that Earl Grey, Kimani. I mean, Kamar, I'm sorry. My cousin's name is Kimani, Kemani. And
same as you've been telling me for like 7 years.
I know, man, but that you like family. I keep thinking I'm talking to my cousin, man. Kamari, not Kimani.
Listen, I don't gotta be on her show. I would just love to talk to her. So many people don't realize this. Robert talked about this earlier, right? Or forget. Because people kind of do and say, Kamari, you're always on the radio. Well, this all started for me because I had a radio show. And then I fell in love with radio, in particular interviews. And I think Karen Hunter is a hell of an interviewer. Like, you watch some people when they do interviews, they never ask good follow-up questions. They're not really listening, right? To be an interviewer, you got to listen. You got to be in tune. And yeah, sometimes you might not have good guests to interview because the energy's off, the vibe's off, or they're just, I can't use the A word, but a-holes or whatever. But if you're a good interviewer, like I know this guy is kind of on the outs right now with the Me Too movement, but I love Charlie Rose, right? He made everything seem like it was a conversation. Yet and still, he knew all the right questions to ask of all his guests. So he knew how to take those questions and formulate them into a conversation instead of just this stale, stagnant, I ask you questions, you respond. This robotic kind of give and take. So yeah, but congrats, Vanessa. I mean,
Yeah,
definitely help build the brand. So Vanessa says drink tea.
I got you. I'm typing it in now. Earl Grey.
Yep, she says there.
Yeah. Okay, I see it. Thank you. That's my blend right there. Earl Grey.
Okay, Michael Dennis says gotcha. Sometimes the rules only apply to active duty, which is why I asked. Gotcha. Yep.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Now, Michael, are you in the military as well?
I think he must have been prior military.
Yo, Vanessa be low key stunting on us. We shipped out 300 orders of Earl Grey today. I love it though. Listen, Vanessa, I love it. Congratulations. Salute to you. I wonder what the profit margin is on those 300 orders. That's awesome. 300 orders in a day. Kirk Jamaican Henry. Bettors can try Navy Federal for home buyer's choice loan. No money down, no PMI, 100% financing. Whoa. You know what? And I am a fan of Navy Federal. They do a lot of good things for their members. They do a lot of good things for their members.
Yeah, just read the small print. No, I don't hate on Navy Federal either, but again, VA is 100%, and then PMI, the equivalent is the funding fee. There is no PMI if you have a 10% or greater disability with VA. So just keep that in mind. And yes, brother Wayne 215, it is worth it, especially if you're lowering your interest rate a 0.5 point or more, which depending on when you bought, it should be not hard to do nowadays. So yes, sir.
What is FHA Streamline?
Simply, you do not have to do a new appraisal, okay? And really, depending on the lender, they're only looking at the mortgage history over the last 12 months. So it's a good scenario for those who have been in a home, I say 5 years or from 1 to 5 years. If it's over 5 years, you want to really look at your cost or how much equity you're going to have to use to do it. But again, if you're getting a 0.5 point or more reduction in your rate, I don't know when you bought, you might be at a point. It's worth it, man. It's worth to do. If you're over 5 years in the home, if you were at a 30, look to try to get to 25 or 20-year amortization. And I don't know what your goals are. If you're trying to free up some cash flow, then you can go back to 30. There's ways to hack that payoff by just paying extra and paying it off in a faster interval or faster time.
So is FHA Streamline for refining or is it for new mortgages or both?
Both. So you have to have an FHA loan, a FHA purchase in order to do a streamline. Okay. So here are the loan types: FHA, VA, USDA. USDA insures loans, and conventional.
Yeah. So Shamika Wright says, Vanessa Bracken, you're killing it. Yes. See, my sister over there is definitely killing it.
Yeah, she is.
And she ain't forgotten about her people either. All right, so now Streamline, FHA 203K for rehabbing.
Two different programs. So, okay, I think it's the old Streamline. It's called the Limited now, but the FHA 203K Limited, meaning that the rehab is going to be $30,000 or less. And then the full-blown 203K is when you need a consultant. And as long as you have a slab, you could build a house from the slab up. So, yeah, again, depending on, I don't know if it's going to be your primary residence, but the money's cheap, right? And if somebody will borrow you the money at a low rate for a long term and you pretty much build a house that you want to, as long as you can afford it, I don't see any reason not to do it. How about you, Kamar?
No, I mean, listen, you're the mortgage guy.
Yeah. I was just saying from a dollars and cents perspective. So
yeah. I mean, I know you said if you can save at least a 0.5 point or 0.5%, it usually makes sense, or it can make sense. I know everybody has different fee structures.
Right.
So, you always got to keep that in mind. But if the fee structure is right and the percentage points are right and you run the numbers and you can make more money over time or spend less money over time, then yeah, it's no brainer. No brainer. Oh, wow. So,
Marine Corps, that's a real soldier right there. No disrespect to the Army.
certified. They put me on a poster too. Hey, listen, Michael, you got to share that poster with us one day.
Yeah. If he was on the poster.
Yes. Vanessa Braxton says, do you mind if I send your show over to Karen Hunter? No, I don't mind at all. Oh, tell Karen Hunter, though, I would love to see her do more on social with her shows. She does some stuff on YouTube. She's heavy on Twitter, but I would love to see her more. I think her message needs to be out there. So, but yeah. All right, folks. We are getting ready to wrap up. Got a favor for everybody to ask of you all, right? I am looking to grow my YouTube channel. Everybody says I don't promote enough, so I don't want to promote this. Can you all go subscribe to my YouTube channel? YouTube.com/Kamari Ellis. Right there on the screen. YouTube.com/Kamari Ellis. And by the way, while you're at it, share it with a friend. By the way, Vanessa, you can share that show with anybody you like. With anyone.
Caring.
Yes, sharing is definitely caring. The other thing, if you're looking for some place to grow your financial IQ, to get your financial education, I hate the term financial literacy. Maybe we'll do a show about that one day. But get your financial literacy up. Come join the Financial Academy here on Facebook. Just type in the search Finance Rebel Academy. It'll come in. We're talking about money all day long. So if you're looking for somewhere to have a serious conversation about money and increase your IQ, come on over to the Finance Rebel Academy.
There you go.
Last question. What other topics would y'all like to learn about? I know Robin said ETFs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I'll put together just about anything around money that's positive, right? We ain't gonna talk about gambling, but anything around money. What do you want to learn about? What are you interested in? Let me know, and I'll put a show together around it. So you let me know. Robin, did you see the video link I dropped? Did you see the video link that I dropped? It's on ETFs. Yes, Vanessa, you are a subscriber. You support me without fail, and I appreciate you so much for that. And everyone else that supported. Let me do a quick selfish. Get us what we're talking about. We got on right now 12 people. I think we had upwards of 18 earlier.
Yeah, they came through.
Yeah.
Did you put the link in the comment section for the ETF?
I did.
I don't see it. I was trying to find it for you.
So Robin, let me ask you a question. Are you trying to go all in on ETFs? Or you just you couldn't find it?
Yeah, I don't see it either.
You couldn't.
Live side or private
The
side?
comments kind of flew. I think I still got it here. Robin, look for it now. Give me 1 second. Un momento. So yeah, so ETFs, you want me to do a deeper show on ETFs, and that's fine. Anything else? Anybody else have anything else they want me to cover? So
remember, Soto was saying the student loans and credit. You said you were going to bring.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Robin's trying to get paid. Now, Robin, you said you're in Canada, right?
Sound like she already paid, but keep getting paid. I know that's right.
Now, I just shared it on the stream. Maybe.
Are you putting it on your live comments, man, or on Facebook, or in StreamYard here?
You know what? I just saw something. I think there's a difference between the comments on I put it in wrong. I put it in yesterday's live.
Oh, okay.
All right, bear with me 1 second, folks. Y'all can't leave me just yet. I need you all to keep me company. It's going to be lonely. All right, here we go. Here we go. I got it. I got it. I got it. All right, Robert, look now.
There it is.
Come on. So I'll do an intro, Michael, to commodities. So I say my charge is to get people to invest, right? So that's more of the beginners. There is no universe where commodities investing is for the beginners. I can talk about it. A commodity is basically anything that comes out of the earth. You know, you probably, if anybody's ever seen Trading Places with the scene with Eddie Murphy where they talk about a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
Yeah.
All those things are commodities, right? A lot of them trade in the open market. You actually can buy. There are ETFs you can buy commodities with. You know, pork bellies, cattle, coffee beans, things like that.
Yeah, Robin dropped a heavy one.
What's that?
You see our last comment?
No, I just know there are countries that will take some of China's piece of the pie because of the pandemic.
Because how they were treating those Africans and stuff. I think that's what she was talking about. I don't know.
Well, no, I think what Robin's talking about is China exports heavily.
The supply chain. I got you.
Yeah. It's definitely expanding. When they were talking about those tariffs, I know a lot of companies shifted to other regions or countries in Southeast Asia, like Vietnam. There's some others. I know there's some. This isn't Southeast Asia, but there's some stuff going on in Pakistan, obviously India, places like that. Anywhere where you can get cheap labor, companies tend to migrate to. Sad, but true. And our dollar isn't the same equivalent as their dollar over there. So, you know, it's all good. So, Robin, you see that link, right?
Right above your last comment. Yeah.
Now, wow, this is interesting. We're talking about China. China says it just announced. China says its economy shrank by 6.8% in the first quarter as the country battled coronavirus. That's going to be rough.
They try to keep their currency devalued anyway, so they can sell more of that stuff around the world. So they, you know, I don't know if I believe everything coming out of there anyway.
Well, China does prop up its numbers. There is no doubt about that. However, I don't believe what the baby Hitler up on Pennsylvania Avenue was talking about. But China didn't disclose all their numbers. Now he's trying to withhold funding from the WHO. And on top of that, he wants to put his names on the stimulus check. There's just an inconsistency there in integrity or lack of integrity, in my opinion. But I know y'all not here for my political commentary. But you know, I might just do a political commentary show one day. Don't be surprised if it happens. Because I'm frustrated. I need y'all to feel my pain. But everybody, thank you for joining. Follow Robert. All right, Robert, where can people find you at?
Just on Facebook or IG, Instagram, they can search at Lend, L-E-N-D, the number 2 USA. And that's my handle. And, you know, like Kamari is saying, if you like the content and things of that nature, follow, man. If not, share it with somebody that you think it might help. Sharing is caring. I appreciate it in advance.
All right, sir. Well, until the next time, I guess we'll figure out what we're talking about again soon. We probably should do this.
You got a TV station. You got crawlers and lower thirds. And you big time, bro. Yeah.
Okay. So Michael Duncan said he's intermediate. Michael, it sounds like you're more than just intermediate. It sounds like you are.
Yeah, Mike, you're a heavy
stage if you're doing futures trading, because most of that is day trading. If you're not day trading in futures, that means you got heavy cash because you can carry that overnight spread, and that's major. That's major. Companies will withdraw some of their business from China, so Where will they do business? This is why I'm thinking about India. Now, Robin, I ain't see you talking about no Vietnam. I think you got that from me now. You gotta give me my credit. I don't want no money. I just want some credit.
Robin playing chess. He trying to see where they going, right? Where they going?
Yeah. But listen, Robin, I like the way you're thinking. That's the way you should be thinking about it. You should be trying to figure out where's the best play at. How can you get into it, right? Because a lot of times I might have an investment thesis, right? Basically, an idea of something that can do really well, but I might not have a way of executing it, right? And what I mean by executing it, you can execute it through a security or a stock. Sometimes you can do a direct investment, like Warren Buffett when he actually buys companies. Sometimes you can just invest in someone else, maybe as a direct investment. But you have to always kind of go through those and filter through those ideas. When I worked institutional, they would literally make us do decision trees. Like if this happens, we can do this or that, like whole logical type step through type thing. So, Robert, I like the way you're approaching this. I like the way you're approaching this.
And I think,
but listen, everybody, it is 10:05. I gotta eat dinner. I think I want some coffee. You know what? I'm going to get some tea. So shout out to Black Mama Teas. Everybody go check out Black Mama Teas. Listen, she's just going to give me a shout out to Karen Hunter. So she just made my week. She just made my week. So I'm happy.
She's going to plug you in with the connect, man. So congratulations.
She might the producer might see us and she might like you better, Robert. And I'm cool with that.
I only talk to you, man. I'm gonna let you do the big stuff, man. But thank you again. Thank you again for come on.
Nah, not at all. But thank you everybody for joining us. Until the next time, everybody have a great night. Until the next time. Bye-bye. They don't want us to leave.